to become a journeyman lineman in the union, there's no real way around it except for going through the apprenticeship. So Cellcat, if you live in this southeastern area over there, is going to be your best bet. That's going to be kind of your first step, is getting into that apprenticeship. There's no real way around just becoming a lineman. You can go sign the books and get a groundman job, but that isn't your pathway to becoming a lineman. The signing the books as a groundman is a place for you to start working, getting into the union, and ultimately, getting that experience, getting those hours, and just working towards, getting into an apprenticeship and then advancing into an apprentice and then ultimately into a journeyman lineman. Hello, welcome to episode 28 of CTQ. CTQ is a segment I do on the channel called Cruise the Questions. This is where I take your guys' questions and I answer them here to help you guys on your career pathways. Now, you can submit your questions a few different ways. The best way is to email them to austin@bluecollaredu.com. You can also go to the website at bluecollaredu.com and go to the contact tab in the top right corner where you can submit your questions or concerns there as well. You can put them in the comments down below, and I'll take you guys' questions from the comment sections as well. It's also a good way to help, for other people who are on YouTube watching, maybe they can help answer your questions as well if they see them in the comment section. So really, those are the three best ways you can ask your questions, or you can find us on social media, Blue Collar EDU, and I can take you guys' questions from there as well. Now, CTQ is one of the better ways I'm able to use a little bit of knowledge and experience that I have in the trade so far to help you guys on your blue collar career pathways. I graduated high school. While in high school, I worked in a mechanic shop. I graduated high school. I worked in a welding fab shop for 6 months, and then I got into tree trimming, power line clearance, and then I got into a lineman trade. I've been in a lineman trade since 2017. Been a journeyman since December of 2020. So that's kind of my best 10 to 14 years of experience in my life so far has really been that. So trades is honestly the only thing I really know when it comes to careers and working, etc. My dad's a union pipe fitter, my mom's a nurse, all my uncles all work in the trades somewhere doing something. So it's really all I know. CTQ, like I was saying, is like a very good way that I can just help you guys with your guys' questions. More of a personal way that I can directly help you guys. I get a lot of questions, so I figured this is a good way to help you and help others who might have similar or the same questions. So submit your questions and I'll take them and I'll answer them on episodes of CTQ to help you guys on your career pathways. So with all that being said, let's hop into question number one. So question number one, I got from a guy named Cody. He said, I graduated from line school almost a year ago, and I have been working for Pike, and I moved my way up to an equipment operator. But I have been thinking about joining the union. And my question is, do I have to go through Cellcat to become a journeyman, or do I just sign the books and move my way up like that? Well, good choice on wanting to go union. You're going to make better money and get better benefits than Pike. So to become a journeyman lineman in the union, there's no real way around it except for going through the apprenticeship. So Cellcat, if you live in this southeastern area over there, is going to be your best bet. That's going to be kind of your first step, is getting into that apprenticeship. There's no real way around just becoming a lineman. You can go sign the books and get a groundman job, but that isn't your pathway to becoming a lineman. The signing the books as a groundman is a place for you to start working, getting into the union, and ultimately, getting that experience, getting those hours, and just working towards, getting into an apprenticeship and then advancing into an apprentice and then ultimately into a journeyman lineman. So that's really your pathway if you want to get into this trade and become a journeyman lineman. There's no other route really around it. The only other route, which I don't even like saying or like talking about, is those linemen out there we call white ticket linemen who work for a non-union company um, for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus years, and then they want to go union. There are certain unions out there in the South that you can go challenge the journeyman lineman test at the IBW hall. Granted, you pass that test, you might have to work on a crew for 6 months to a year at basically like a 7 step apprentice to see that the crew that you're working on sees that you're a qualified, you know, worker when it comes to working in the power line trade. And then, granted, you pass that union journeyman lineman test, you can become a yellow ticket journeyman lineman. But I don't really like talking about doing it that route because it's quote unquote easier to get in non-union. And then if you just say, hey, I want to go, I work non-union for 5 to 10 years, look at all this experience I have, and then just go challenge the journeyman lineman test and you pass it, and then all of a sudden you're journeyman lineman. I feel like that's kind of like a cheat way in. Now people do it all the time. I'm not saying I preach saying going into an apprenticeship, a union apprenticeship, going through that lineman apprenticeship is the best bet to become a journeyman lineman because that apprenticeship is so valuable when it comes to learning all the different aspects about the lineman trade. You're going to get awesome experience. You're going to get the in-class learning. You're going to work for various different contractors in various different areas doing various different types of work. So that's why I preach on the apprenticeships, because they are next to none, a really good training platform for you guys, earn while you learn. And if you're able to get to a union apprenticeship, I think that is the way you go. But as far as for you, yeah, man, Cellcat is going to be the way that you need to go and you should go for yourself, especially you want to be a good lineman, you want to become a journeyman lineman, and that's what you want to do. You want to go union, you want the money, you want the benefits, you want to be able to travel around the country, every single state, basically, and work as a lineman. That's going to be your best bet. So apply at Cellcat when they have their applications open. I know that they don't have applications open year round, so you got to make sure you pay attention to when they open up the applications and apply when those applications are open and just go for it. All right, let's hop into question number 2. Question number 2 is coming from a guy named Jermaine. He says, good afternoon, Austin. My name is Jermaine. I'm 42 years old. I see there's a utility company here in Orlando, Florida called Team Fisho that's looking for a Class A CDL driver. Do you think it would be a good fit for me to apply at my age, because I'm currently working overnight as a food service delivery driver, delivering to fast food chain restaurants. Just tired of working overnight. Well, I don't think you're too old. I mean, if they're looking for a Class A driver, do you have your Class A CDL? And if you do, then I say apply. Team Fishel they're a big company. They're in like 12 different states, Florida being obviously a big one, and they do a lot of utility work I'm pretty sure they're non-union, but either way, they do power line, they do underground, they do telecommunications, they do gas, they do a variety of different utilities. They're a big company, so I'd imagine that they're probably pretty good at taking care of their employees. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I've never worked for them. I don't know anyone who's ever worked for them. If you've ever worked for them or know somebody, then put in the comments down below if they're an all right company to work for. But yeah, why not? You know what I mean? If you have your Class A, why not just apply and try to get that job? Worst case scenario, they say no, and you just continue to do overnight, delivery. So that's really the advice I could give to you. All right, let's hop into question number 3. Question number 3 is coming from a guy named Tyler saying, hey, Austin, I'm 26 and switching over careers. I've been an ice carver my whole life, but trying to get into the lineman trade. I interviewed and signed the books, and on my local IBW 126, I'm ranked 22 on book 4. And from IBW 769, I'm ranked 22 also on book 4. I left my job as an ice carver last week, but I don't want to be on unemployment and get working experience. unemployment and get working experience. I'm trying to get into telecommunications, but everywhere around me isn't hiring. When I went into some places, union, non-union, for tree work. And after an interview today, this non-union place, Save a Tree, they are across America. They really need a CDL groundman equipment handler, and offered me a position to start on April 1st. So, timing recording this video, it's a little bit past that, but either way, this is, I think, pretty good information. I would be making less than I did ice carving. My question is to you: do you think I should accept it or keep trying to get into the telecommunication experience until I get a call as a groundman? I figured it would help me drive a CDL truck, learn basic rope tying, pulling a trailer chipper, but other than that, I don't see how it would benefit me as much as compared to getting into telecommunications. Do you think I should accept it and be a tree groundman until I get a call from one of the locals as a groundman, or keep trying to get into telecommunications until then? Thanks for taking your time reading my message. I'd appreciate everything you do and hope to be an IBW lineman one day like you, man. So, Tyler, the way I look at this is you're already unemployed. I know by this point it's already past that April 1st mark, so I don't know what your decision you made. But man, you're already unemployed. If you have a job, this is decent work experience, especially for the lineman trade. I mean, yeah, you're not working on power lines and doing all that, but you are working outdoors. You are working around boom trucks. You are working on the road, maybe around traffic. You could be working at heights if you're able to go up in the bucket. You could learn how to climb trees, which is good. The knots, the rigging, the driving a truck, pulling a trailer or a chipper, that's all pretty good related work experience. So don't discount that experience. You're already unemployed. I think why not take the opportunity, at least work there? Hey, either you like it or you don't, but you're already unemployed. So why not just take the job, work, get the experience, and if it sucks and you hate it, well, you know, go back to trying to get on telecommunications, or you can stay on the groundman books and then wait for a groundman call if that time comes. I mean, you're booked for and you're 20 down spots. So there's 3 books ahead of you. I'm not saying you're not going to get a call, but the chance of you getting a call are slimmer than you at least just going back to work. I wouldn't rely on the fact of like, hey, I might get a phone call. I might become a groundman, or I might get to telecommunications. Those are all maybes. Those are all mights. There's no for sure there. But there is a for sure that you can work as a groundman, on a tree trimming crew. Why not get that experience? You know what I mean? You're already not working. Why not just get back to work and start getting experience working in that sort of environment? Just try not to discount it. Yeah, you might be making less money than doing ice carving. You might not be doing the exact kind of work that you want to do, but you really can't be that picky either. You know what I mean? Like, you're starting out trying to get into the lineman trade. Honestly, you just try, like, this is one of those first steps, right? Like, some people get lucky and they're able to get a groundman call, or get right into an apprenticeship without having any other prior experience. But getting into apprenticeship or getting into the lineman trade, man, that involves applying. Like, have you applied for apprenticeships yet? Like my buddy Nick, he didn't have any prior experience in the trade. He drove truck for a year and then applied, interviewed, he took the aptitude test, etc., and then got into apprenticeship a year later. So that these things take time. The expectation that you think you can just sign the books or apply for an apprenticeship and then get in, in the next week or the next month is not very true statement. There is a small percentage of people that might get the opportunity, but there's a larger percentage of people who don't get the opportunity. So I think you take what you can get, you know what I mean? And not in a way where you feel like you need to, lower your standards or do something that you think you're less than doing. But it goes back to, you're already unemployed and you have a job offer to go back to work and start getting some probably pretty decent work experience. You know what I mean? Yes, it's not ideal. Yes, you're not on a power line crew. You're not working on power line. You're not working on linemen, or you're not doing telecommunications. But you have to take the first step and start getting experience and working in a similar trade, sort of similar. And this is the opportunity. So you just take it, you know what I mean? And worst case, it sucks. You hate it. You don't like working there. It is what it is. You take the experience for what it was worth and you move on. And you continue to do what you're doing, trying to get it on telecommunications or you know what I mean, continue to get a groundman, try to get a groundman job off the union books. And that is what it is. And that's just the process. That's the framework that you have to do. And it's going to take time. You just don't give up. You just keep going. You keep going. You keep trying. And eventually your opportunity will come. You know what I mean? Like you have to knock on 100 doors before a door opens. And right now you're knocking on doors. So you keep doing what you're doing. All right, let's do one more question. Question number 4. This coming from a guy named Jordan. Jordan is saying, "Hey Austin, love the videos. I'm 23 years old. I am looking to get into the electrician trade. My only issue is I really suck at math and I don't know how much math is involved in the electrician trade. I'm trying to go union. I'm looking at my local IBW and seeing how I can apply and get started in the trade. Do you have any tips or tricks for me, or what kind of math I could expect to see on an aptitude test or the math I could see in the apprenticeship?" Well, Jordan, that's a great question. The electrician trade or the electrical industry as a whole can have some mathematical equations involved, right? The lineman trade, there was math involved. It's pretty simple. It's everything you could do off a calculator or on your phone, right? It's basic algebra stuff. In the electrician trade, it probably isn't much more in depth than that. You know, electrical theory or figuring out Ohm's law in like these equations, really you can punch numbers in on a calculator. And if you can use a calculator, you should be fine. As far as the aptitude test that goes, there, you know, you can look up test preps online. If you were to go to a course like on Course Careers, they have an electrician course that's, you know, in a course that goes extremely in depth in the trade, and they teach all about the math that you will learn inside the electrician trade and also help you get prepped for the IBW aptitude test. So you could look into doing something like that, but I'm telling you, it's pretty basic algebra. You know, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You know, use this to find x. Like it's very basic math from my understanding. So, you know, if math is a big issue for you, you know what I mean? Like just go on Google and look up algebra 1 test questions and just start learning there, or go on YouTube and look up algebra, you know, basic algebra questions and start learning. I know you're not old, you're not super young, you've been out of high school for a while and you suck at math, but if you want to get into the electrician trade, especially in the union, you're gonna have to pass that aptitude test. And there is math inside the apprenticeship, but the apprenticeship is also going to teach you all that math. So right now you might not have any idea about the different math you'll be using, but in the apprenticeship, granted you get into the apprenticeship, they're going to teach you all the different math that is used, the different equations and how to do this math. So they're not going to expect you to know how to do the math already. There's no way they can expect you to, but they will expect you to be able to learn and do homework and take tests to complete the apprenticeship and complete the different tasks that you need to do to become a journeyman electrician. So math, I know us in the trades, you know, we're not good at math, but from my knowledge, it's basic algebra math. Like it's stuff you can do on a calculator. You can punch numbers into variables, find X. Like it's pretty easy. You will be taught it in the apprenticeship. There are you know, like a course online, like I was saying, Course Careers. I'll have a link in the description below where you can go check that out if you want to, where you can enroll this course and they're going to tell you, teach you everything you need to know about the electrician trade to maybe help you get better prepped for getting into an IBW electrician apprenticeship. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that episode of CTQ with Blue Collar EDU. I'm here to expose, teach, educate you guys about blue collar career opportunities, how to get started in the skilled trade. If you guys enjoy this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, questions you guys have, sharing this if there's other people you know in your life that are wanting to get started in a skilled trade, whatever trade that is. Share this episode with them, share the channel with them. We're just here to help you guys build your careers when it comes to the blue collar skilled trades. So yeah, with all that being said, I'll catch you guys on episode 29 of CTQ.